guys, how are y'all today? Sorry I had to come in just a little bit late because I once again tried from Chrome to go live and couldn't get it to go. And so we didn't have a 6 hour delay in the replay. I came over to Firefox and looks like it works from here. So I hope everybody's doing well. Wow, you guys in Arizona, that's a little warm. 102 is more than I want to see. So blessings to y'all. I hope you have good air conditioning because that does not sound pleasant to me. Hey, Joyce. Hey, Kay. Hey, Sharon, Lawrence, and Caroline, and Cindy from Odessa, Texas. So y'all are having fun down there in Texas. My Texas crowd is in the house. So today, oh, it's very cold and wet there in the UK, huh? Well, today we're a little damp here, but we're still not cold. It's just that time of year to be damp, but we have been so dry. I cannot complain about rain at all. Thanks for joining me from Minnesota, Jean, and Widgie Design from Amsterdam. Wow, that's a good distance away as well. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a few things that people have asked for. So that's where I'm going to start, but I'm also going to take you into some new things that came out in Artspira recently that you may not be aware of that kind of make your life a little bit easier. So let's see what we can get going. I'm going to answer Caroline's question first about creating artwork text, basically, and we're going to do it in BES4. I'll probably do it in BES4 and in Silver because that's the two that I have open. I was going to check and see if we could do it in Simply Applique. So we may test that theory there just to see. I mean, there's limited fonts in Simply Applique, but I think they may have the tools. I just can't remember off the top of my head. So let's start out over there. Let me turn off my tablet here and hide that out of the way and bring something up on top. So I'll do it in BES4 first. If you have Power Pack, so if you have the second Power Pack, this is super easy with the second. I mean, you can do it in artwork mode as well. I shouldn't say super easy, but you can do it in artwork mode as well there. So let me share my screen here and screen two. Boy, this is a totally different experience. Okay. So here we are in BES, and let me open up the design to kind of give you an idea of where we're going with this so y'all can understand what her question was. And this is where we're going. So I'm going to, I guess I need to save that. We'll save it to my desktop here or to my downloads. There we go. So this is what I created, and I created on a different computer is why we're bringing it up. So let me come over here and go open. And here's my BRF file that I created for you all to be able to see where we're going. Come on, wake up, computer. Francis, do you have P Design if by any chance? Because that's where we're going to be able to do that the easiest. All right, come on, wake up, computer. You're at a quilt retreat in Bowie, Oklahoma, huh? Well, why is my computer not opening? Well, okay, let's go to Silver, and maybe it'll open in Silver to show you where we're going. You see. Wow, guys, it's a wonderful day on my computer today. Oh, okay, so that means whoever digitized it did it in a different software, and it's leaving a center drop point. Okay, so what program are you working in, Francis? Oh, wait a minute. It may have opened up. Did it? No. See if it opens up here. Huh. It's just not playing nice with me today. All right, well, we'll just start from the ground up. I give up. I cry uncle. So the thought was she wanted to have 3 words, and I'm going to change to a true type font, and I'm going to go to Robo something. Robo Slab, I believe is what it is. Roboto Slab is what I'm going to go for. And we're going to do thankful. Oops, we're going to make it all caps. And we're going to click apply, and that's the first one. And then we're going to come in and go to the next word. And the key is your words need to be somewhat close to the same size. Because if they aren't, it looks a little weird. We're going to do grateful, and then our last one's going to be blessed. And I've done them all in cap letters, okay? So let's zoom out here and see what we've got. And so that looks pretty close. I'm going to make them taller. And we can always change this after we're done. And I'm not worrying about that error message right now, but actually I'll go ahead and take care of it so we don't have to see it on all of them. Let's just take them all, grab them, and we're going to change it to a different stitch type. So over here where it says pattern, we're going to change it from a satin stitch to something else. And that will stop that message from appearing. What that's telling you is that there's some segment of what I've typed in there that's larger than a satin stitch can be sized at its largest size. So it can't be stitched that large. So I'm going to make sure that these are all about the same height. Actually, I like the height of blessed. So let's give it a different color so we can keep up with what we're doing here. And let's pull this down and see what we've got. I'm going to make it as tall. So I'm just going to pull it from the center and then move it back where it was. Maybe. And we'll pop it underneath here and give it a different color. Let's make it green. So now we'll pick the bottom one. Let's make it just a little bit bigger. All right, so they're close. Now let's put them back in their spaces. All right, so the key to this is we are going to do envelope text. And I'm going to come in here and we're going to make them all the same width as well. So we're going to pull them out to the side to make them all about the same width. This one I need to move it over so I can get close, and we'll make this one about the same width. So blessed is my smallest word. I could put it in the middle just to kind of even things out, but I think we'll be okay with the way we are. Now let's grab them all and go to our Arrange tab, and let's do horizontal center. Okay. So now we're good with that. We're going to copy and paste each of them twice, because envelope text, if we come in here and look at our envelope text, they're simple shapes. So you can see each of those dots represents something that you can adjust. So I only have 6 adjustment points on this. And if I want to make it look like a wavy line, 6 is not going to work for me. So I'm going to get out of that, and we are going to copy and paste, and I'm going to show you the magic. I'm doing Control C, Control V. So now I've got another thankful, and I'm going to paste it again. I should have 3 thankfuls, and I do. So this one, I'm going to come over and take out the beginning of that word, and we'll make it KFUL. Then I'm going to bring my cursor back in here and put it over the top of that. Hold the Control key down on my keyboard and use the arrow key to the right and take it and move it all the way to the right to where it's on top of the original piece. That first one that we put in is just a reference tool for us to be able to line these 2 parts together. All right, that's close enough for government work. Now I'm going to grab this one, and instead of taking out the thank part of it, we're going to take out the K, the last half of the word. We'll have T-H-A-N on this one. Once again, come back in, click right there to grab it, and left mouse click. If you don't click there to grab it, then it's going to adjust things in your properties windows. So I'm using the control key and my arrow key on my keyboard to move this over to the right. And it just kind of shifts it over in little increments. And you can just hold it down till you get close. Okay, so I've got my thankful ready. Let's take out the original thankful and delete it. So now I've got two parts of my word thankful. Grateful is still all one word. We're going to do the same thing for it. We're going to copy it. So Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. So now I've got two gratefuls down here as well as the one up here. If it helps you, I can change the colors of these gratefuls so that you can see we've got different parts. Let's see here. Grab that one and we'll make it a purple. So we're going to grab the top one and we're going to leave in the EFUL and apply. And then come back over here, grab it, hold my control key down and slide it over. If that's not fast enough for you, you can always hold your shift key down and drag it. And then refine it with the control key and the arrow key. So we're going to grab the grate and we're going to take out the full on the end of it. And the same thing. If I hold my shift key down and drag it, then it stays in that line as well. And then we can delete the original grateful, which would be the top one. Now let's change this back to to where they're the same color. I don't care what color. Oh, undo. I don't care which color. I just want this word, this part of the word, and this part of the word to be the same color. So we'll make it red. Or an orangish red. And then we've got our last word, blessed. Copy, paste it twice. Twice, not twice. We'll make it the first one green, and we'll make that one an orange color. Just so y'all can see what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter which half you take out first. Honestly, it would just change the order of sewing, and that's fine. I'm going to do control. Oops. Actually, it does matter for me because I evidently am better with taking out the first part of it first. Okay, so let's come over here. It's just a matter of being able to grab it. So this is an odd number of letters. I'm going to see how it works this way, and then we'll go from there. We'll go with the SED on the end. But in my properties windows where I'm removing those letters. And I'm holding my shift key down and dragging. And that's close. Let's get a little close. Oops, too far. It was actually right on top. All right, so let's get rid of the first blessed. Now, this and this can be the same color. All right, so let's go back to our home tab. Are we good so far? We're going to click on the thank, okay? And we're going to click on the text tool. And you'll notice that we have those spaces. So I've got a square, I've got a circle, and I've got a square, and then I've got a square, a circle, and a square. Each of those allows me to adjust the design. If I want this to stay straight on the top, then I will not play with anything at the top. I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave those straight at the top, and I'm going to take my T and take that little piece and drag it up. And then I'm going to take this little guy right here, and we're going to drag him down. And then we're going to take where the end meets up, and we're going to drag it up a little bit. And then I can drag that down a little bit further. Now let's click on the KUFL. We're going to take this one and drag it up. And this one and drag it up. And then this one and drag it down. So now I've got my word kind of as a wave. Now, if you'll notice, if I come in here and I drag this and pull this straight down, it looks like that H and A and N went down a little bit. So we can fix that. We can drag this up just a little bit to give a little rise. And same thing on this end. So it looks like that L went down a little bit. We can drag that up and we can drag this down just a hair. Now those look better. All right. So next part, we want this one to wave both ways. So I mean, I could do one of the presets and adjust it, but I found it was easier just to do this like it is. So I'm going to take that down, move it up, and then I'm going to take this up. Ooh, undo. Got to get that crosshair. And maybe move that down a little bit, move that down a little bit. And I don't remember what the original actually looked like exactly on this one. I may have gone too far on this. It may actually, I think it's supposed to be up like this. Yep, that's what we're supposed to do. All right. So now the last one, instead of being flat on the top, it needs to be flat on the bottom. That means I need to fit it in along this bottom part. So I'm going to click it. We're going to take this up. We're going to take the circle one down. You'll notice, watch it bow. We'll take this guy up. And then we'll meet him up at the top up here. Oops. And there you go. So if you look, drag your little line down, those actually, the bottom stayed tighter than the other one. And that's how we did that little exercise. If you want to make sure that it's fitting in a hoop, you can go in here. Let's see, first of all, how big it is. In PE Design, this one is not possible. Our transform text tools do not allow that capability, unfortunately. This was one of those that is a BES trick. Where was it going? So this is 20 by 13. So it's way too big for my biggest hoop. Let's come down here and let's take it down to, let's make it 14 inches. So that should be a good size. And now if we try, we might be able to change that back to a satin since it's not so large. Nope, it still wants a different stitch. So pick one. I kind of like smooth or random. Either one of those is a good one. I mean, guys, I might futz with this a little bit more, like my U could be up a little bit further. You're never locked into what you finished unless you save it as a stitch file instead of a BRF file. You can always come back to your BRF file and play with it. Now, if you want to do this as artwork, select the whole kit and caboodle. If you have Power Pack 2, this can be done as artwork. So where it says Style Column, change that to Artwork and click Apply. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Let's undo that and see if I do it. Oops. See if I grab it and do it each one separately if it does that weird thing. Yes, it does. Interesting. So it takes it back to its default size. Let's make it back. So with artwork, you're probably going to have to create it in artwork mode first for it to work well. I did it the opposite direction and it worked, but evidently artwork, stitch mode to artwork mode is not our best friend. Oops, undo. But you can certainly come in and adjust. Diddle-dee-dee, what did I grab? There we go. All right, you get the concept? So let's see. I know you can do this in, you can do the stitch version of it in BES3, BES Blue. You can do the stitch version of it in BES Silver and in BES4. What I did not check is, can I do this in Simply Applique? Let's do it with one word and see where we go from on that. You get the concept. I'm not going to sit here and futz with that forever. Let me come grab Simply Applique and let's see what we've got. Yes, I do have those adjustment notes. So it would be the same way. So let's just kind of copy this and paste it. Oops, select, copy, paste, copy, paste. And we'll change it into 3 colors. I'm not going to do all 3 words this time because that's a little redundant, but we'll see how well we can do here. Actually, wait a minute before I do that. Let's make them all a little bit taller. Now, shift and drag it. Let's grab this one. Oh, and it stayed in its spot. Cool. And delete. All right, so once again, we're going to leave the top alone. We're going to drag this up a little bit, drag this down a little bit, drag this up a little bit, up, up, and down. Now, this can't, for this, you're stuck with the fonts that are in the software with this. So as you can see, it dropped the N on that one based on my adjustment. So that is not optimal. But that gives you an idea of how that works. So you might need to try a different font. Brandon may work. Brandon works better. But you are limited to the 12 fonts that you have in here. But there you go. And once again, you would need to change your stitch to a different style. And then make it all the same color. Okay, I'm coming back to see if I can answer questions. So like I said, I'm sorry, but I could not find a workaround to make it work well in P Design. The tools that we have to work with are limited in our adjustment. So if you look at this, and I go down to my transform button, let's go ahead and take out, actually, wait a minute. Let's do the same thing we did before. Let's come in and copy and paste. Copy, paste. Color. Okay. So we'll do the same thing we did before and come over to our text attributes and take out the KFUL. And then we'll take out this part. Now this time, this one we have to move over. And we'll delete this. Okay, so I've applied the banner by itself. Now, could I do something different? So could I make it Can't do the exact thing, but I could do something like that. I could come in where it becomes challenging is fitting that next row in, because the only adjustment I have for this one is this triangle over here on the side that makes it more or less full. So that's where that challenge comes in. So I mean that's where I stall. You can come in and try this, but once again, this is where I can kind of get it there, but not all the way. So if I wanted it flat on top, let's find the flat on top with the curve. Flat on top with a curve. There we go. And now this one I would need flat on top and curve the other way. And you'll notice there's not that capability. Because I can't change that curve to make it go like this. I tried this trick right here. I can make it, we can make the whole word that way. So if I do, I've kind of got what I want, but the top row, the top of it's not straight. So there just weren't the adjustments necessary to be able to do everything that we had. So that is one of the things that I like about the BES software, is that it is a good customizing program. But I mean, if I try, I can do this like this. So let's control and drag this down. They could all have that same arc. I just can't make it the same. I just don't have the same tools. Okay. So, I mean, I could do grateful. I mean, they nest well together if you look at that. So it's not like it's a bad thing. It just, you're not going to get the same effect. So you could do that. It looks more like a pennant, but it's doable. You also have a double, and the double the other way. So it really depends on what you're trying for. This one lets me adjust one spot, and that's the downside of these, is that our transformations can only be adjusted from the one place. All right, so Velvet, this is your question. How to add offsets in BES4 or in CanvasWorkspace? I'm going to show you CanvasWorkspace 4 first. Okay, actually, let's come over here. And you're most welcome, Carolyn. Let's see here. So Francis, let me go ahead and answer your question before I move on to a different piece of software. So in PDesign 11, how do I take out jump stitches? Or how do I turn something into a jump stitch? What sounds like to me is that you have a design that's dropping a stitch where you don't want it. That's basically what I'm getting from you. Let me see. I know I have one. Hold on. Do I have it on this computer? That is the question. This PC data. Commercial embroidery designs. Yes. I need a good design. None there. Okay. It's not in that one. I must have already taken it out. Let's see if there's one there. All right, that random stitch right there. You could change it into a jump stitch, but you don't have to do that. So click your select tool, your select point tool, and select that little line. Click that point and delete it, and it's gone. If there's more than one color that's doing that, then you can select the design, go to your stitches tab at the top, and do divide by color. Then hide every color that's not the one you need. So I could come through here and hide all these. And then I've got this one. Let's put it in stitch mode so we could see, but those are jump stitches. If they appear as dashed lines, they're jump stitches. If they don't, they are stitch points, but it is a matter of selecting it. Let's turn that one on. Selecting it, and if it's dropping a stitch, select your select point tool, click on that piece, and then you would select the stitch that it's dropping. Okay. And that's how you would fix that one, Francis. Now, if I were let me hit new page so I don't save that. If I were trying to add a jump stitch, I'm going to just make a design here. I'm going to convert that to stitches, but let's say that these right here weren't jump stitches. They were actual stitches. So, hold on. Undo. Let's make these closer together. Now I'm not able to force them to be a trim. Okay. Well, I can show you how to get rid of the trim so you'll know. Convert to stitches. Then I would come in and I would grab my select point tool and I would click on the line that I'm trying to find the jump stitch. There's my jump stitch. If I press delete, my jump stitch should be gone. But it's still, I mean, let's pull that out. Undo. Usually I'm not trying to get rid of jump stitches. That would kind of defeat the point, but come on. Give me one. So there we go. There's the jump. And you can see I've moved it on both sides. There it is. If I delete it, it's deleted it from both, but it's still going to jump. It just can't help but it. I mean, it's over 5 millimeters, and the only way to change that is on the machine. The other way is to delete the points themselves. But you can see that's still a jump. It's not letting me change that. All right, I've belabored that point a little bit too long, so let's go on to Velvet's question of offsets. Okay. Good. I'm glad I figured that one out. I think that's close. So let's see here. So Velvet, I don't know what you want to add an offset to, whether it is text or whether it is a shape. We'll start with a shape and go from there. So let's say I have a heart in here and I want to add an offset to my heart. Your editing tools over here, the little 4 dotted lines, come down to the bottom, offset. You choose your spacing. You choose whether you're going outward or inward. Do you want it rounded? Do you want it beveled? Do you want to leave the original one as is? Do you want to delete it, or do you want to set it to a drawing line? So I've changed my spacing. We'll say okay, and there's my offset. If you wanted, let me undo that. So here in this version, I cannot do more than one at a time. Okay, so if I want another offset, I have to come back in and keep going. All right. In BES, I can set multiples at one time. Now, if I were going to do text that way, it's the same thing. Offset, choose whether you want round or beveled. Let's do beveled this time just for the kick of it. And there you go. You now have your offset around it. Okay. In BES, this is a Power Pack 1 feature. So if I come, and so it's an artwork mode thing. If I'm doing text, oh, it needs to be done in artwork mode. So there's my text. I go to my Arrange tab. This is where my Power Pack features got added. Go to Offset, and you can create outlines or create an offset. I'm going to create an offset. You can choose the outer edge only or outsides and insides. If you can choose the holes, which, what does that mean? That means if there was an A in here, it would do the inside of the A. We're not going to do holes because we don't have any holes. And then you choose your spacing. So I'll say 0.05. And you can choose how many offsets you want. So if I wanted 4 offsets, I can have it bring up 4 offsets. Once again, I let go of the original. So let me try that again. Let's make this larger, 0.2. 4 offsets. I want to leave the original selection as is. You can miter it, you can bevel it, or you can have it round. That is up to you. I'll go with round this time. You can remove the original. You can set it to drawing, because this is creating a cut file. Now, can I do something from that cut file? Of course I can, but this is creating the cut file. I have spilt my water on me twice now. Evidently, I do not have the lid on my cup. Give it a second. That would be the case. It's a good thing y'all can't see me from the waist down or from my neck down. Well, let's see if it's going to process. Oy. Did I crash and burn it? I may have. And just so you know, while we're sitting here waiting on this to do, you do have the option of choosing whether you want it to be a cutting and drawing line or a cutting line or a drawing line only. So you do have that choice. By default, it's going to be a cutting and drawing line, but you can change it to cutting or drawing by itself. So there you go. Now it's going to make all of those in an off-white color, just so you know, but there you go. So the first 2 are really tight up, and we can break those apart. Just so you know, if I go back to Arrange, I can break those apart. Now we should have all of our pieces. So these first 2 are tiny insides. And the third one is as well. There you go. So that gets you a little bit further out. That tells me that it would work better for the other one. Okay. All right, guys, let me come back over here and see if there are any other questions. Because if there are not, I don't know if y'all are going to Heidi's this weekend. That is where I will be. Boy, it looks like my internet signal is being ugly again today. We didn't have internet last night. I have no idea. I was afraid we were not going to get to do this today. But I am leaving for Heidi's tomorrow, so I'll be there over the weekend. Talking about the new Avenir will be my part of it. And the BES Silver. So those are the things that I'm going to do this weekend. I do not see any other questions. At all. So I guess we're good. All right, guys. If there is nothing else, I am going to say goodbye for the day. I'll give you just a second to see if there's anything else you wanted to say. Boy, howdy, the Wi-Fi signal is going bad. But we are having a thunderstorm now. I hope to, Cindy. I hope it's a good time. So I thank you all for joining me. And if you're joining for the replay, sorry we missed you today, but glad you could come back and watch. So y'all have a great rest of your week. Next week, I will be on Tuesday. Actually, you're going to get me for a couple of weeks in a row. But there is something else I forgot. Artspira, the new things in Artspira. I forgot why I had this tablet sitting in front of me like this right here. My tablet's sitting here, so this is going to be the good one. Sharon, I have no idea. Not until the release would be my statement. Until everything is finalized, they will not pop out an instruction manual, I do not think. All right, so let me find my reflector app. Here we go. And let's attach my device. And I want, for those of you who like to work on a tablet, we now have a few more fun things to do. So let's bring this over here. Now, I'm gonna rotate my device. Let's open it up and look. Artspira now goes in landscape mode. You no longer have to look at it straight up and down, regardless of how you're going to do. You also have, when you go to new and you choose embroidery, let's say we want to do design editor. And let's say I want to choose a larger hoop. So we'll come down here to my 10 5/8 by 16 and say done. Now, I can have it go, if I go all the way down to the bottom, there is a toggle button for rotate 90 degrees. Now I'm designing in the correct orientation for what I've got going on. That one is awesome. We've been asking for that, and they have finally done it. So that was one of the things I wanted to bring up. Bridget, no, there is not a new Brother printer. Everything that we released, really the only thing we released this year was the Avenir and what was the other one I was going to say? Avenir and BES Silver. Lord have mercy, my brain is frittered. So that's one of the things. And if you haven't played with Artspira AI at all, this is actually quite fun, guys. For printing especially. So I have been playing with this and having a blast. Crayon and watercolor are probably my two favorite ones to play with. And look here, it says human, dog, and cat. Those are the things that it recognizes the best right now. And it recommends one or two objects, clearly visible subjects, not multiple people out here, and not somebody that's hidden, because then it doesn't know what to do. It's learning from us. And yes, you can get some very unusual results, okay? Just so you know, you will not always get the same thing twice. So if I come in here and I go to my recents, and let me pick princess here. So here's my princess photo, right? I have cropping options down here at the bottom, so I can play with the cropping. And she is freaking out because we have a thunderstorm going on. You can remove the background if you want. I'm leaving my background on, and I'm going to say convert. And we'll say okay. Yes, I thought you would like that. Landscape mode is just the bomb now. You'll resize it after you're done. All right, so here's Princess in it today. Now, the last time I did this, she came out black and brown. So it may have been that I lightened that photo. That is a very possibility. But notice, okay, so that was a sign. It is now looks like a classroom. It's going to convert to what it's going to convert. You all understand that. But you say create your printing data. You tell it what size you're going to do it on, and then you say done. So if you want to try a different mode, you can still try a different mode. So if I want to see what it does with watercolor instead, I can hit watercolor and try that out. Let's see here. Give it just a second. And if you don't like it, then you just click cancel and go back to the original one. So come on, finish up. Oh, it's hiding underneath there. So this is my watercolor version. Now I'm going to show you my result, what I've done with these. These are actually quite fun to play with. Let me see if I can find my pillow. And there will be a video. The video shoot I was on last week was on Artspira. So we were doing some of these features. So this is Princess, and we sublimated her last week. I printed her with Print Moda here. So Print Moda, and then I took her to my Luminaire or your Avenir if you get an Avenir, or you could take a picture of it with your My Design Snap app and do it with your Stellaire. I added stippling around the outside edge. This one right here was auto punched in the auto punch feature in Artspira. And then this is the crayon version of Princess. So you can have a lot of fun with these guys. I highly suggest playing with tools if you haven't played with them, especially if you're already subscribed and you're an Artspira Plus subscriber. You're getting some new tools that are fun to play with. If you're not and you want to try it, you can have a 60-day free trial, guys. Let's see here. What else do I have in here? Oh, I've got kitties too. Kitties were fun. Now, I'm going to sit here and tell you, I had a 3-legged kitten. Because you never know. It's a learning tool. It's learning. So there's my watercolor kitty. And here is my crayon kitty. And here's the original kitty. So there we go. And that design that is quilted over the top of it is an Avenir quilting design. It is not one of the automatic ones. It's not an automatic edge to edge. It's one that you have to manually do, but it is fun. The photo fabric washes pretty well. You do want to, okay, so you don't really preset it. You kind of do though. So what you do after you've printed your fabric, you let it dry for 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes, you take it and you immerse it in cold water and let it rinse out. So that gets your residual out of there. After that's done, I let it dry and then I press it. So then I've heat set it. And I've had good luck. I'm not having any transfer on my fingers. That's what the recommended way. If you're afraid of transfer, then I suggest that you, what am I trying to say? If you're afraid of transfer, they suggest, I mean, they are really big on the sheet that goes over the top of it, that laminating sheet. I don't care for the laminating sheet, so I haven't done that. I have a treatment that I was going to try, but I haven't done that. But yeah, I mean, it's an inkjet printable fabric. So just keep that in mind. It's inkjet, and it's not, if it's inkjet, it's going to be like any inkjet fabric. It's a little softer than the EQ printables. And it does have a little bit better of a drape to it, but you could use the EQ printables as well. Now, you can also sublimate these. So there is a cotton poly blend that you can get on and you get that same look. If you want it true to life, then get a complete polyester piece. So you'll get a much more brighter look instead of the muted tones. Just depends on what you want to do and what kind of feel you want your fabric to be. So if you're into sublimation, you can do this with sublimation or with printing. And I could take a screen capture of that image that I created and try turning it into embroidery as well. I think it's a little bit too detailed for that, to be honest, but I mean, you could try it. It's a possibility. So that I did want you all to know that there are a couple of other little tips and tricks I want you to know about. So you have, let's say we come in, I'm going to tap off and I'm going to add text. Here's my text, and I'm going to make that bigger. Okay, so now if I tap on one of them, you'll notice down at the bottom here, there is a select tool now. Select, and I can select all. And then I can say, okay. Oops, nope, I wanted to go back in. Tap, select all. And I can group them together. So now they move as a unit. If you don't want them grouped, you can untoggle that. You can tap one, you can crop. So if you wanted to crop this picture some more, you could go back in and touch crop. And the crop, you pull out instead of in. That is how you crop in here. So if I just wanted her face there, we could say done. And now I've just got that part of her face. You can change your conversion mode. But my favorite possibly of all time is this little duplicate key. So let's come here and let's change this to rotate 90 degrees. And I'm going to make this smaller. And we're going to say duplicate. You can duplicate by number, or you can tile them. You can do 2 across, 2 down. It's going to say there's too many for that. So if that doesn't work, go ahead and say okay. Now, I'm going to select those 2. I'm going to go into my select tool and tap those 2, and I'm going to group those together. Let's make them slightly smaller. Take them up to the top, and now I can duplicate them again. So if I was trying to do a whole sheet of them, I can, wrong way, that way. No, you're kidding me. Make them a little bit smaller. It has a set amount of space that it has to leave in between them. That doesn't mean you have to leave that much space in between them. And then there is another tool. Let's see here. Let me remember where that is. Layers. So if I want my princess to be to the front, if I go into layout down here at the bottom, down all the way down to the bottom, I can say send that to the front. Now princess is on top, and I can change her color. So they've added some tools for us. Let's send this one to the back as well. And there we go. So let me show you which one was send to the back before I get out of here. Layout. Come on. This one right here is send to the back. This one's bring to the front. Okay. So that is what we have. Those are the ones I'm going to highlight today. I don't want to leave it all in one day, so we'll come back and talk some others later. So, yes, the AI, I printed that AI picture through Artspira. I created it in Artspira and I printed it on Print Moda. You can actually, the cats that I did, I printed them with Print Moda. You can actually print them with a Sublimation printer if you'd rather, but I used Print Moda for mine. So yes, the pillows that I showed with the cat, actually the pillows and the dogs were both done through Artspira and printed with Print Moda. So I try, when I make a sample, I try to incorporate multiple things in it so that it's not just a one-dimensional sample. That way you guys, when I'm out and about, I don't have to carry twice as many samples. I can carry one and be good with it. So that's how I do it. A sublimation printer is a printer that prints on polyester fabrics or polyester substrates. There are many, many blanks out there. There's cups, there's tiles, there's slates. There's tons of stuff out there that you can sublimate. There's earrings, there's keychains. You can sublimate on can koozies, on neoprene. There's quite a few substrates that you can use. And what it does is that it prints on specialty paper in a reverse image. And then you take that and you lay it on top of your fabric, and it embeds itself basically with a heat press. The gases infuse into that fabric, and it is a permanent bond. So you pretty much let it stay overnight. I tend not to wash mine until the next day or maybe 2 days later, but it is a permanent fuse with the polyester fabric. Okay, so if you had a 50-50 and you did a sublimation print, then only 50% of that ink is going to adhere to the fibers, because it's going to find the 50% that's polyester, and that's what it's going to bind to. So that would be a more vintage look if you went with a 50-50 substrate. If it's 90-10, you're going to have a brighter color. The less poly content, the duller your colors are going to be. Now, sublimation doesn't print white. Okay, so your print needs to be on a light color if you want the colors to show up. All right, you don't care about that, then it doesn't have to be on a light color. If you're on a dark color and you want to sublimate, there are substrates that you can sublimate on. You can do glitter vinyl. There are HTVs that are made for sublimation. I believe Caesar has a easy subli that you can print directly on. So, I mean, there's various substrates out there that you can use with your sublimation printer. So, I mean, that just kind of gives you a range of things that you can do. But it's quite fun to play with, I will have to say. I don't have any of my sublimation stuff. Oh, yes, I do. Hold on. Just a second. I'm going to switch views, though, so that y'all don't see me in my shorts. Okay. So here we go. Now this is on 100% polyester, okay? This graphic came from Creative Fabrica. So if it's something you're interested in, I would highly appreciate it if you would use my affiliate link for that. This one right here is done on 50/50. So you can see you get a much more vintage look. I do not suggest the cotton sprays to make it sublimatable. Those turn yellow on your fabric and they are toxic and it's not a good look. I tried them. I would not suggest it, especially if it's something I'm selling. So this one is also 100% polyester. You'll notice that it is the 100% polys are much more vibrant. This is a garden flag that you can sublimate on garden flags. There are mice pads. So here's Princess in the middle of my mouse pad. This is an Artspira design, and I added Princess into that frame. So this is, when you print it out, it looks more muted, and then when you sublimate it, when you add the heat to it, it gets much more vibrant, okay? So hopefully that answers your question a little bit about that. All right, guys, if there is nothing else, I am going to say goodbye for the day. I said that 10 minutes ago, but I had forgotten all about Artspira. So hope y'all enjoy those little tips and tricks today. I mean, there's tons in the free version of Artspira as well. You don't have to go into the paid version if you don't want to. There is tons of free content. I just want you to know what we've got what's coming up. And as always, I want you all to remember that there is an education tab there. So let me cancel out of this and we'll discard and I'll show you the education tab. Let's get out all the way out and go home. Up at the top, the very last icon is education. There are all kinds of videos in here telling you how to do things. So Artspira basics. These are the basics on how to use Artspira. Now you got to keep in mind they are always updating this. So we just retaped some to give you more tools. But here's basics on embroidery. So if you're new to embroidery, that's a good place to start. Artspira basics, cutting basics. So these are for the scan and cut machines. Printing basics. This is on Print Moda, and then sublimation basics. This is on the sublimation printer. So, and we are all, let me put it to you this way. Once a quarter, we create more videos. So we're always trying to keep up and give more information in there. So keep that in mind. Don't overlook that because that's free information for you at this time. And as always, there's one magazine a month that's free for you. Okay. All right, guys. You all have a great rest of your week. If you're coming to Heidi's, come by and say hi to me. Well, you'll be through my class at one time, that's it. And they may still be taking registrations. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Karen this week, but it's great to see you all. Sorry it's been so long, but it has been a hectic month. So next month slows down a little bit, which is a good thing. I get to do some stuff at home. You all have a great week. Bye-bye.